Welcome back, my dive squad. No intro Anchorman references this time. I felt like that landed a little weird. Could have at least recorded myself playing a conch shell or something. But moving on. Here we are at dive number 2 on the Vandenberg off of the coast of Key West. About 7 miles, I think it was. If you haven't checked out my first dive, make sure you do that. A nurse shark swam right up on us. It was one of the highlights of my diving career, so definitely going to want to check that out. You might notice in this one there are a lot less depth warnings. Not really sure why, but we definitely stayed a little shallower on this dive. I don't know if that was on purpose. It probably was. We had a very knowledgeable dive guide who was very concerned with our no deco times, so I suspect he kept us towards slightly shallower parts of the boat, at least, although my max depth was still deeper on this dive by a whole foot than it was last time. So the red arrow you're seeing is an ascent warning. I do remember when this happened, popping up just a little too quick. Computer screamed at me, but knock on plastic. No DCS so far. All right, let's get right into it. Back on the surface again with Tim from the Midwest. There's Jacob from Poland, already down. One thing about Aaron the dive guide, he could descend. He must be one of those people who just equalizes without even trying. I am very jealous of that. I have to hold my nose and blow quite hard. And it's always my left ear that causes me problems. Right? No problem. Left is the one that's stubborn. Well, I also realized at the end of this dive that the bottle I keep my eardrops in was completely dry, so I think it leaked out. I was worried about that. I made sure I dried out my ears really good, and no problems. I would have had one by. I would have got an ear infection by now, so that was a relief. Yeah, when I first started diving, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, I got 2 ear infections back to back and actually went to an ENT thinking, maybe I just couldn't do this. Maybe there's something wrong with my ears that are not going to allow me to dive. But he said, nah, everything's good. Just make sure you dry your ears out. And he gave me a recipe for mix-it-yourself-at-home eardrops, which I don't think I even followed to a T. I think I Googled something and somebody was like, half isopropyl alcohol, half vinegar, and you're good to go. And I did that, and I've been using those ever since and haven't got an infection yet. Although this dive, no eardrops, no infection. That was good news for me. Good news for me. It would have really put a damper on the rest of the trip. Ear infections are no fun. But here we are. There's the air. So maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. The current was really raging this time. We took a 45-minute surface interval. I think by the time we ended up, getting geared up and back in the water, it was closer to 55 minutes to an hour. And something changed in that amount of time. It's crazy how quickly conditions can change. This current picked up, I'd say, at least 3 times, maybe more than it was. You can see Tim in front of me. He's just Supermaning the rope, I think, as he called it. Flying through the water like Superman. Yeah, if we had to swim into this current, I don't think I could do it. It was that strong. I say it was that strong. I think on the way back, coming back up the rope, it felt like we were just hanging on for dear life. And a jellyfish just kind of comes gently swimming by, or floating by, rather. And I'm thinking, man, I feel like the current has flown faster than that. I don't think it was, because jellyfish aren't the best swimmers, so probably mostly in my head, but I'm not used to diving in a whole lot of current, except for Cozumel, and in that case, you're going with the current. It's not very often I find myself pulling myself into the current, so new dive experience. That's one of the reasons I love this dive so much. It was something new, something exciting. Yeah, see, look at that jelly. He's really not flying by that fast. But thank goodness for this rope, because, yeah, swimming in here, I would have burned through 1,000 air just getting to this down point juncture. assuming I could have even made it. I am not a strong swimmer, and I did not bring my good fins either. I brought my off-the-shelf since day one diving fins. Yeah, if you watch my Miami dive video from earlier this year, I think that would have been back in February. Man, when did we go? Must have been February. Around the ball with the fire coral on it. Yeah, I almost bumped my head on that thing on the way up. Dive guide Aaron alerted me inches away from that. Hey idiot, watch where you're going. You're about to bump your head on this fire coral ball. It's like, good looking out, Aaron. I appreciate it. I was not wearing a hood. Too hot for that. Although I probably should have worn one just for the sun protection. But that didn't happen. Anyway, down we go. Oh yeah, I was complaining about the current in Miami. Yeah, I went diving in Miami. Like I said, I think it was February. And I was surprised they let us go. It was very choppy, very current conditions. I might have been a little hungover, which wasn't helping things. But we got out there, and we jumped in, and for the life of me, they wanted us to swim. It was very similar to this setup. They wanted us to swim to the front of the boat on the surface. And that was directly into the current. And man, I was kicking and wasn't moving. And the captain's like, you gotta kick, you gotta swim. And dummy me, this is 100% on me. Yeah, look at that flag now. It's really, really waving in the breeze now. But I did not have my snorkel on my mask. I had it actually strapped to my leg, and I did on this one too. I promised myself after that dive I was never going to jump in the ocean again without a snorkel attached to my mask, because I burned through probably 1,000 air just getting to the front of the boat. So I swam up on the boat, kind of put my hand on it. I had to take a rest. I finally got to the bow of the boat, and the captain's like, no, you need to go further this way to go down this rope on this buoy. And I looked at my partner, I said, that man, I'm going down right here. That's what I did. You know, about 20 feet down, the current greatly subsided. We easily found the rope from there. But at that moment, I promised myself two things. I'm getting better fins, number one. And number two, never jumping in the ocean again without a snorkel. And I got home, I bought way better fins, but I don't bring them on airplane dive trips because I don't have a dive gear bag, and I don't want to take my expensive fins and smush them with all my dive gear like I do the ones that I brought with me. So I've been to 2 airplane dive trips since I bought my good fins, and I haven't used them in the ocean yet. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. I really need to get a dive. There's a big lionfish, yeah. Did you see it? I thought I'd point the camera at better than that. Maybe we saw it again on the way back. Yeah, I'm surprised somebody didn't spear those things. They have designated dives just to go kill lionfish. They are a big-time invasive species in the Florida waters. Voracious appetite, they breed quickly, starve out all the other fish. That beep beep, that's a depth. I think that's a depth warning. Man, I don't know what that second audio tone was. I think that's a depth warning. It's weird because, like, the instruction manual explains what all these tones mean, but you don't ever hear them because they mean things. They're problematic, or so you don't really hear it. I really wish the dive watch had like a test mode or something where you could test, what's it sound like if I go too deep? What's it sound like if I'm ascending too quickly? Because you don't hear these things until you're actually doing them in the water, and then you're like, what? And even if I could memorize what the instruction manual said, you still don't really know what they sound like based on what you're listening to. Anyway, I survived the dive, so it couldn't have been that bad. And as you saw from the intro, there was a lot less warnings, cautions, and advisories on the dive profile. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of exciting wildlife that I remember here. Those angelfish I spotlighted. about a minute and a half ago. Those were nice. Yeah, I keep turning the camera around. I've told you guys 100 times. Oh, there we go. So 92 feet, like 10 minutes of decompression. No deco time, 21 minutes of air. That's what all those numbers mean if you want to pause it and take a quick look. And my remaining air pressure in PSI is the bottom left number. It looked like it was 2,000 something. But yeah, I don't think we saw a whole lot of super awesome wildlife. It wasn't like a big nurse shark swam right up on us this time. Not that I'm complaining about the fish that are here. It's really spectacular. It always is. This was the time. So we were swimming here, and this current was too strong. You can see everybody kicking like mad. You're not supposed to touch the wreck, but when it comes to, you know, me cramping up, tiring out, getting swept out to Cuba versus grabbing an old boat, I think I'm going to grab the boat. And I was trying to put my hand on not alive looking things, at least. Sorry, Vandenberg. The ocean currents were a little too much for me at this particular juncture in time. This was the not fun part of the dive. I don't enjoy being stuck in furious current. It's happened a few times in Cozumel too. Here at least I had something to grab onto, so I wasn't completely tiring myself out. And then after this, it's like, yeah, I think I had to make a swim for it to the other railing. The other group, yeah, the group was getting ahead of me. I'm using my arms here too. I'm not a strong swimmer at all. And I do have the new fins. Like I said, I haven't brought them anywhere where I've actually needed them, because I still don't have a dive gear travel bag, which I desperately need. That's going to be next on the list. In fact, when's the next sale coming? Yeah, these guys and their freaking jet propulsions. Yeah, you're going with the current. You don't even need it. What do you... Might as well turn it off going this way, save the battery. You need it going the other way, my homies. Anyway, one of those devices would have been nice to have going into the current. Yeah, here's back where the lionfish was, I think. Does anybody see lionfish? Maybe not. I don't know. I could have swore I got a better look at the lionfish than what you saw there. Maybe not. I don't know. But the highlight of this dive was the swim through. It was the tightest swim through I've ever done, and it was vertical, so we kind of went in somewhere and then went up. And I was sweating that one out a little bit. I haven't done anything like that ever. Certainly not in these tight, confined quarters. Man, hats off. Let's all clap at people who actually serve on these boats, man. I don't know how they do it. These doorways are tiny. That's my scent warning. That was me coming up too early, if you heard that. Something like that. But yeah, I'd have to walk around these boats with a helmet on, because I would constantly be banging my head on top of doorways and ceilings and who knows what else. I always thought if I was in the Navy, I'd want to be on a submarine. Just, I don't know. Hang loose? Yeah, if you watched any of my previous videos, you'll know my GoPro stopped beeping at me, so I have much less of a idea when it's actually recording now. So I'm constantly taking off my head. Oh, look at this. Jacob, if you ever watch his videos, I tried telling you this on the boat. You see that little fish hanging around on his tank? You see those on like sharks and things. They're always like following sharks around, hanging off sharks' backs, and it was doing that to his tank. I thought that was funny. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Poor little confused fella. I don't know. Maybe there's something hanging on his tank that he's munching on there. I don't know. Yeah, here it is. This is it. That tiny little hole we just squeezed through. And then it's like up the ladder. And I'm looking at this opening like, Aaron, are you serious? Yeah, I think I barely fit through there. I think I maybe brushed my tank. And I was like scared I was gonna catch a hose on something, because my hoses hang out just a little bit. At this point, I was clear. Now I was enjoying it more than I was the 10 seconds ago, where I was freaking out just a little bit. Just a little bit. But you just gotta face that fear, you know? Never gonna overcome it. Unless you just do it. Just gotta go for it. And Aaron was watching this. You saw him. He was hanging at the edge there, ready to pounce if something went wrong, I'm sure. So that was cool. That was it. Highlighted this dive. Tight squeeze through the chimney. Must be what Santa Claus. Call that Santa Claus squeeze through. Yeah, I was pumped. Coming at you. That's Yano sauce. Coming at you. Yeah, I'm still coming at you. What was I doing? Yeah, I was pointing out the flag here. This is on the way back up. Man, that thing is just flapping in the wind. I've never really been on a wreck before, so I've never seen a flag like this underwater just totally unfurled. I really got a kick out of that. But here we are on the way back up. You know the dilly. Let me check my playlist in case this is the last one. Probably is not. 982. Oh, no, I got plenty to go. Jeez. Did I really need 5 more videos of the ascent? I don't know. Well, I recorded them. We're going to watch them. Or you can hit that back button on your browser and go watch something else. I don't know. It's your world. It's your world. Do what you want to do there. Still unsure what the red stuff on the rope is. Yeah, I don't know. I was paying more attention to where I was going this time because I didn't want to bang my head on the fire coral buoy. And I think we're going to see Aaron here. Yeah, there's the buoy. He's watching out for it too. Yeah, I mentioned it in the first video. He was hanging onto this rope with his legs, which was a pretty cool little maneuver. I thought about trying it myself, but the current was so strong. I was like, maybe I better not do that right now. I guess it wasn't that bad. I was constantly scared the GoPro was going to go flying off my head. I do have it tethered to me pretty strongly. I got 2 screw-in carbiners, and I bought a black chain, like a necklace link chain, stainless steel. Alright, so where's the, yeah, I guess the red stuff on that ball is fire coral. Or the orange stuff. Yeah, it's chained to me, it's tethered to me pretty good. In fact, too good maybe. If I ever get in a bad situation when that thing goes flying off my head and gets stuck somewhere, and it might stick me with it. So I don't know, maybe I should try to make it a little weaker than that, but I had some tether, and he's saying 3 minutes. I'm telling him, yeah, my watch now is telling me you can't see it. It's telling me I gotta do 4 minute stop. It doesn't actually say 4 on the safety stop. Yeah, it's got the 1, if you just saw it barely there. It's got the arrows pointing at each other and saying don't go above a 10-foot ceiling, and it's got a 1 and the right number there, which is telling me I gotta sit here for 1 minute, do not go above 10 feet. Then after that, it engaged the regular safety stop, so it ended up being a 4-minute safety stop. But yeah, I had the idea with the tether, or had the idea for a tether after Cozumel. Well, I always had the idea for a tether. What I was trying to say is I got to put together a really crappy tether for Cozumel. Like, oh, you know, I got some string and some little cheap carbiners, and yeah, after 2 dives, I think the knots I tried had completely come undone, and I'm like, yeah, alright, I gotta figure out something better than this, so that's when I decided to buy the chain and the screw-in carbiners. Yeah, here we go. Here's Aaron doing his tightrope walking. Pretty fancy maneuver there, holding on to the rope, hands free. Y'all watch my dive videos, you know I'm all about hands free. That's why I got the GoPro on the head, and I got the light on my Goodman glove. I like keeping my hands open in case I need them without worrying about dropping things. Yeah, Tim's dangling his light on his wrist. I tried that. I don't really like that. Too much play on my hands. Too much distraction. I've also tried dangling it from my, like a D-ring on my BCD. Again, it's just one other thing that's hanging down when I'm swimming. Don't like it. So, Goodman glove is perfect for me. Man, I was really cranking out these safety stop videos. Do I have 5 minutes recorded for a 4-minute safety stop? How is that possible? Now this is good. The current was still flying here. I think I got... Gosh, I got 4 left. What was I doing? Yeah, he wants to know if we're done. Tim just went over to show him. Oh, that's a good video. You know, one thing I wanted to do that I didn't this entire dive was really shine my light on one of those jellies. So if you watch my first video, Aaron's asking if I'm done or not. I'm saying I think I got... No, I was done at this point. He said go on up. I wanted to shine my light on one of those moon jellies. If you watch my first video, I think it was Tim who catches one right off like the corner of the camera, right when we got down, and it really lit it up. And I think I saw that at the corner of my eye at the time. I was like, man, I really want to shine my light on one of these things. And I just like didn't do it. I don't know. Man, I wonder if all these are even dive videos. This has got to be the last one. So. Maybe not. Alright, I got 3 more on my list. That doesn't make any sense. This has to be the last one. Oh, I know what the others are. Those are boat ride home. That's what they are. That's what's going on. Okay. That's the other dive boat. Competing dive shop. Yeah. There I am. In all my glory. Boy, the current was ripping that side. Really ripping. Yeah, okay. I'm probably going to stop talking here. I captured a few videos on the boat ride back home. That's when I'm more free and more loose. Dive's over. I'm feeling good. I'm not worried about dive gear, setting up. So this was awesome. Let me give a shout out to South Point Divers. If you ever are in Key West looking for a dive shop, I highly recommend them. They know their stuff. Excellent dive guides. And my dive buddies one more time, Tim from the Midwest and Jacob from Poland. If you guys ever see these, feel free to drop a comment. I hope you are doing well. And I'd love to go diving with you guys again if you ever get the opportunity. Let's do it. Reach out. And hopefully I'll see you guys again. Take care.